Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks so much for your interest in our Caregiving Guide training program. I'm going to give you an overview, and then if you'd like to schedule time to talk with me to learn if this is the fit for what you'd like to accomplish and achieve and do, I'll include my email address at the end so you can reach out and schedule time with me. I'm always happy to talk to someone about any of our training programs because it's an investment, time and money, and I want it to be the best investment for you. Just a little bit about me. So I launched my very first online caregiving community in 1996. I managed that for 24 years and sold it in 2020 in order to focus on training programs. The first training program that I launched was in 2016. And it is our Certified Caregiving Consultant Training Program. I've also been in a caregiving situation for my parents since 2004. I still help my dad, and I helped my mom until she died in August of 2022. Okay, so I always think it's helpful if we look at the definition of what it is we're talking about. So we're talking about a guide. So the definition of a guide is a person who shows the way to others. And that's what this training program is about. It's about presenting information to help family caregivers learn how to manage, navigate, and advocate within their caregiving experience. So I guess the foundation of the information you share after you complete the training program is two concepts that I developed. The first is the staging of the caregiving experience. And I came up with the 6 caregiving stages back in 1997. Initially, I had 4 stages. I asked for feedback based on the feedback I received. And I put it out there and asked family caregivers to tell me what they thought. They told me. And based on that, I added 2 stages to make it 6. And over the years, I have really looked at that concept, revised it, tweaked it, updated. I just looked at it again yesterday and I thought, I need to update it again. The last time I updated it was in end of 2021. Try to update it every couple of years. And I think that's really important because so much changes within a caregiving experience, because so much changes, for instance, within the healthcare system, within our community system, within the medical system. It's important that the concept stays relevant and timely, because that's the only way it's going to help a family caregiver. The 17 caregiving stages came together for me in the fall of 2022, but I had started to think through it for a few years before that. In our consultant training, we talk about system navigation. And initially I had 5 or 6 systems that we navigated. And then I would ask training program participants, which systems did I miss? And one of the first times I asked that question, Brianna, who cares for her son, said, nervous system. And then I thought, oh my gosh, that is so obvious. I can't believe I missed nervous system. So I sat with that for a little bit. I always added that in the training. And then I was talking to a family caregiver who was managing her son's experience in school. It was the educational system that was causing her a lot of stress. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so obvious. How did I miss that one? And so then when I finally was like, I am missing quite a few, and sat down and started charting it out, I came up with 10, and then it was 13, and then it was 15, and then it was 17. And I thought, okay, 17 is where I stop. What's interesting is that it all ties together, the systems and the stages. And as a guide, you receive a workshop that you can deliver within your community to teach family caregivers how to move through the stages and the systems, because we can get stuck in a stage. We can get overwhelmed by a system and then multiply that by several systems, and that becomes too much for one person. What's interesting though, when it's too much for one person and we're that one person, we think we're doing it wrong, that somehow we have missed something, that we should have asked a different question or figured out a different solution, when in truth, it is that hard. It's not because we're doing something wrong, it's because it's this hard. So as someone who has studied the personal caregiving experience really since 1990, when I first started working with family caregivers, I have inside information in the systems. And I will tell you, caring for my parents, it helped to know that systems are messed up, but it didn't change how messed up the systems are, right? I understood that the systems are messed up, but that understanding didn't change my experience within the systems. All it did was help me say, oh my gosh, this is just as bad as I thought. So the challenge is we're within these systems that are difficult to navigate and impossible to change. So we have to figure out a way to work through it. We have to figure out a way to work the system. And as a guide, you help family caregivers figure that out. So it's a workshop that becomes options for you. So you go through our training, you receive PowerPoint presentation that you can then turn into a 1-hour workshop that's an overview of the systems and the stages. Or you could do a series of educational programs. You could do 2 3-hour programs. You could do 3 2-hour programs, or you could do a 1-hour program every week for 6 weeks. So there is choice for you and how you actually deliver the information. The goal is that once a family caregiver attends your workshop, they feel understood, they feel vindicated, they feel empowered, they feel armed. It's about increasing their confidence, dispelling doubts that there's something wrong with us. It's not us, it really is them. It really is the systems. And when you know that, it's just a little bit of a stress reliever. In addition, as a family caregiver, you get should on all the time. You know what you should do? And there's something about being able to tell people, you know what, it's this hard and it's not my fault. And I can't fix it and I don't need to be fixed. That's quite empowering. Okay, so that's the goal at the end of the workshop, is that family caregivers feel impacted in a really positive way because of the information you shared, because you're guiding them through an experience that makes no sense. Your guidance brings sense into that senseless experience. What's interesting about this program is that I train you to be a guide through delivering workshops. And you're a guide in your community, however you define community. So it could be that you work with a nonprofit organization in your community. And part of what you do within the nonprofit is educate family caregivers. You can add this workshop to the library of offerings you already have. If you are very active on social media, let's say TikTok, and you think, you know what, I've been sharing a lot about my personal experience, but I want to elevate the information I share. I want to do some training, teaching. You could take this training and actually create videos and share content based on the training on your TikTok channel. So there's different ways that you can approach this. If you are just interested in volunteering to deliver this content, you could rent out a room in your local library and deliver this workshop on a quarterly basis. It's really up to you. So your community could be in person, it could be online, it could be both. The goal is that you are out in your community giving guidance to family caregivers to help them manage their experience so that the experience is better for them. Chances are you've had an experience during caregiving that you think, I would not wish this on anyone. As a guide, you share insights and information to inspire family caregivers so that they have a better experience than you did. That's the goal. So let me give you an overview of what's involved in the training program. So we have master classes that are archived. So you watch the master classes, which are about 9 hours in total before you join me for live training. The master classes include an overview of the 6 caregiving stages, an overview of the 17 caregiving systems, another masterclass that's called the Family Caregivers House of Cards, which helps us understand why sometimes it takes longer for family caregivers to add help than it seems like it should. And you'll understand this. Adding help is a change. And it's not just, oh, it's okay, it's just moving around my schedule. No one is impacted by this help, this change. When you add help, you are impacting your caree, your schedule, other people who might live in the same household. It could be that it's an impact on your work schedule. There's an impact, even when the change is good, like adding help. And we have to figure that out before we add it. We have to figure out how we're going to communicate about it. We have to figure out how we're going to manage any resistance. Let's face it, oftentimes our carees are very resistant to help. So we have to figure out what's the argument? How do I manage the conversation so my caree says yes or okay or let's try it? There's a lot for us to work through when we add help. We have this fragile house of cards, and that's what we talk about in that master class. There's another master class on resilience, and then there's a master class on grieving. The goal is to give you this overview of the caregiving experience so that when you join me for the live training, which is 6 hours, you are ready to talk about the concepts I teach and to start to practice how you're going to teach these concepts in your community. So you watch all the master classes, you take exams for each of the master classes, and then you join me for live training. And the live training happens on the first and second Monday of every month for 3 hours each Monday. Now that live training happens on the first and second Monday of every month, except when there's a holiday. So for instance, 4th of July, we don't have training. September, we don't have training. During that 6 hours, you practice with other training program participants. You're going to practice listening because that's one of our master classes. You're also going to practice giving a little mini workshop so that you get feedback from other training program participants and you start to get your sea legs, so to speak. You're out there doing it, and there's no better place to start actually presenting the material than with supportive training program participants who understand the nerves about actually getting out there and presenting the material. I have learned in the years that I've been doing these training programs that the more we do in the training, where you actually start doing the work during the training program, the more comfortable you're going to be doing the work after you've completed the training program. I used to think, oh, we'll just learn how to do it and then you'll do it after the training program. What I learned is that it's harder to do it after the training program if you haven't done it during the training program. So that's why we do a lot of practicing during the live training so that you've practiced, you're comfortable, and then you'll continue to do it after the training program ends. And then to become certified as a caregiving guide, you complete the master classes and their exams. You join me for 6 hours of live training. And then after that live training is over, you actually record your own 30-minute workshop where you have invited friends and colleagues and family members to join you for the Caregiving Years, which is the workshop. You do a smaller version of the longer 1 hour, so you just have to do it for 30 minutes. And again, it's so that you are comfortable doing it. The way you'll do it is by doing it. So you record it and then submit it for our review, and then you become certified. The goal when you host your 30-minute workshop is not for you to be perfect. It's for you to get practice. The more you do it, the better you'll be. That's what you want to do. You just want to keep going out there and delivering the workshop. The more you do it, the better you'll be. You'll never get better delivering the workshop just staying in your house looking at the PowerPoint. You'll never get better doing it that way. The only way you'll get better is by going out there and doing it. And that's why we have you do it as one of the certification requirements. Again, it's not about getting it perfect. It's about getting practice. We want you to practice with us. Okay, so those are the certification requirements. And we've been approved to offer 16 CEUs for this training program. So if you're a nurse or a certified dementia practitioner or a certified senior advisor or a healthcare professional in Illinois, you can earn 16 CEUs for completing the program. Okay. And there's the website address. We have some who are joining us live. I'm actually going to stop the recording. Actually, you know what I'm going to do before I stop the recording? So those of you who are watching the archive, I wanted to share my email address. You are welcome to reach out to me to ask questions or to schedule time with me to talk out how this training could fit with your goals. I'd be happy to meet you on Zoom or over a phone call to make sure this is the right fit for you. So that's my email address. So you're welcome to email me with any questions or to schedule time with me to talk out how this program could be a good fit for your work. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording to have a conversation with those who have joined me live. So those of you who are watching the recording, thank you so much for watching, and please reach out with any questions. I'd love to connect with you to learn what you think and to figure out if this is a right fit for you. Okay, so those of you who are joining me live, please stay with me and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.